Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ISFAHAN bin Rashidi. My ID number is AM2311014827. So today, me and my group, we will be presenting on our report regarding on the industrial relations issues from the company Post Malaysia Berhad under the subject industrial relations. So let me introduce our group members before presenting. Our group members are me, Afiq ISFAHAN, and then we have Rafiq IRFAN, AHMAD IMAN, and also HANIFF NAJMI. So the reason we chose Post Malaysia Berhad as our case study is because Post Malaysia is one of the oldest and most recognizable organizations in Malaysia. Yet, it faces complex challenges in managing its large workforce, maintaining employee welfare, and ensuring harmony between management and staff. Before we get started on the issues, let us dive into the background of Post Malaysia to get to know the company more first. So, Post Malaysia Berhad is Malaysia's national postal and courier service provider with a history that stretches back over 200 years to the 1800s. Post Malaysia Berhad operates under the DRB HiCom Berhad and is one of the few organizations that have successfully transformed from a traditional postal service into a modern logistics and digital company. Today, Post Malaysia manages over 6,000 branches, employs more than 17,000 workers, and provides services ranging from mail and parcel delivery to financial, digital, and logistics solutions. However, managing such a large and diverse workforce presents major industrial relations challenges as the organization adapts to digitalization, automation, and cost-cutting measure. Maintaining their treatment, good communication, and employee morale has become increasingly difficult. These challenges have led to several industrial issues that directly impact employee relations, public reputation, and organizational stability. In our study, we have identified three main industrial relations issues that occurred within Post Malaysia between 2023 and 2024. The first issue is uniform supply and staff welfare controversy. This issue originated from a viral post by a frontline employee who complained about his torn uniform. The CEO's insensitive response triggered public criticism and highlighted problems in welfare management and internal communication. For the second issue, termination of post rider agents. This occurred when Post Malaysia terminated the contracts of 262 outsourced delivery riders as part of a cost reduction plan, raising concerns about job security and fairness. And last but not least, the pay administration and performance review issue. Employees voiced dissatisfaction with unclear salary increments and perceived bias in performance evaluations, leading to low motivation and increased grievances. These issues reflect on ongoing tension between management efficiency goals and employee welfare expectations. The objectives of our study are as follows. The first one is to evaluate the major industrial relations issues in Post Malaysia from the year 2021 to 2025. The next objective is to assess the causes and impacts of these issues on both employers and employees. Next is to identify the relevant laws and acts to apply to each issue. Next is to recommend strategies that promote better industrial harmony and relationship between employees and employers. And lastly, to understand how industrial relation principles apply in Malaysian workplace. By addressing these objectives, We hope to gain insight into how Malaysian organisations, especially GLCs like Post Malaysia, can balance efficiency with fairness and empathy in their management approach.
My name is IRFAN NAQIUDDIN Berhad. My student ID AM 2311014814. Issue 1, Uniform and Staff Welfare. The first issue we analyze is the uniform supply and staff welfare controversy, which gained national attention in 2023. It started when a frontline postman complained on the company's internal communication platform that his uniform was old and torn. Instead of receiving understanding, the group CEO replied with a message suggesting that the worker should be grateful for having a job and uniform at all. That message leaked online and quickly went viral, sparking outrage from the public and employees alike. Many Malaysians criticized the CEO term as disrespectful and lacking empathy, especially toward frontliner who work under the hot sun, heavy rain and other tough conditions daily. This controversy exposed the issue, particularly how management handles employee grievances and whether the company truly prioritizes worker welfare. From a legal perspective, this case relates to several important acts. Section 50/1 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act OSHA 1994, which obliges employees to ensure the welfare and safety of their workers. Section 60A, the Employment Act 1955, which ensure that employees are provided with reasonable and fair working condition. The Code of Conduct for Industrial Harmony 1975, which promote open communication, respect and a consultative approach between employers and employees. A relevant precedent is Kesatuan Pekerja-Pekerja Perusahaan Metal Industri versus Metal Industry Com 2006, where the court ruled the neglecting employees' welfare and failing to address grievances could constitute unfair labour practice. The impact on Post Malaysia was significant. Public trust declined, internal moral failed, and union began demanding stronger welfare measures for the employees. It was emotionally damaging. Many felt humiliated, disrespect, and undervalued. Post Malaysia later issued a public apology and promised to review its internal communication process and welfare policy. This incident served as a strong reminder that leadership, empathy, and communication are central to maintaining industrial harmony. Thank you.
My name is HANIFF Najmi bin Muhammad and my ID is AM2311014781. So I will continue for the issue 2, which is termination of post rider agents. The second issue involves the termination of 262 post rider agents in the Klang Valley in 2024. These riders were engaged on contract or outsource arrangements to deliver parcels during high demand periods. Post Malaysia justified their termination as part of restructuring exercise to reduce costs and streamline operations. However, many riders said they were not consulted or given sufficient notice, and some only learned of their termination through group message. This created a public perception that Post Malaysia as a GLC was prioritizing profits over people. Legally, this issue touched on Section 12 of the Employment Act 1955, which requires adequate notice before termination. Section 20 of the Industrial Relations Act 1967, which gives workers the right to challenge dismissal they believe are without just cause or excuse. Even though the post riders were outsourced, the spirit of this law still applies, as they perform essential functions. A related case is Ali Abdul Razak and Post Malaysia Berhad, where the industrial court held that redundancy must be genuine and executed fairly with proper notice and compensation. The impact on Post Malaysia included reputational damage, public criticism, and strained relationship with labour unions. Operationally, the sudden reduction of riders disrupted last-mile delivery, causing service delays. For the employees, the effect was immediate hardship, sudden income loss, emotional distress, and uncertainty about their future. This situation also created fear among permanent employees, who began to worry about their own job security. Following widespread criticism, Post Malaysia issued a clarification statement explaining that the termination was part of a nationwide restructuring. They also offered part-time or temporary job opportunities to the affected riders and reviewed their outsourcing policies to improve communication and fairness. Although these measures helped reduce the backlash, they were still seen as insufficient to address the emotional and financial impact on workers. Moving forward, Post Malaysia should implement a responsible restructuring policy, ensuring transparent consultation, fair compensation, and retraining support in any future downsizing efforts.
Okay, thank you Najmi for your presentation. My name is Ahmad Iman bin Zarullah. I'm gonna continue with the third issue of our findings, which is this third issue is related to pay fairness and performance evaluation. Many employees felt that the system lack of transparency. Promotion and bonus were not clearly explained, and performance evaluation seemed biased and inconsistent. According to the Industrial Relations Act 1967, Section 13, wage and working condition matters collectively agreed upon and applied fairly. The Code of Conduct for Industrial Harmony also stressed that employers must avoid discrimination and favoritism. For research by UPSI in 2022 support this, it found that when employees perceive pay decision as unfair, their motivation and commitment drop significantly. So we're gonna see the impact on Post Malaysia. It includes higher turnover and reduced productivity. For the employees, it cause frustration, low morale, and disengagement from organizational goal. Okay, to resolve this, Post Malaysia need a more transparent performance management framework, clearer KPIs, and open communication with unions regarding wage and appraisal system. Okay, we're gonna continue to conclusion. Okay, for the conclusion,
we can conclude that this is a discussion of post-Malaysia Berhad industrial relation issues, the uniform supply and staff welfare controversy, determination of the post-rider agents, and the pay administration and performance evaluation further exemplify how far poor communication, poor decision making, and a poor employee and employee relation can affect or undermine industrial harmony. Each of the disputes exemplified a breakdown in the relationship between management and employee, in that there was no consultation about decision making. Communication was poor, and management appeared to be dislocated from the workforce. Okay, then the uniform supply and the staff welfare controversy reflect a lack of adherence to the grievance procedure, plus completely ignore staff welfare. The post-rider termination case show exactly how complicated it can be to change the structure of the workforce without transparency through consultation. Disruption from dissatisfaction with the pay and the performance show the relationship between feelings of justice and also feeling recognizing upset, also triggered by horrible comments made within a broadcast. Taken together, this case show that the industrial relation to work well in practice, employers need system and policies that work and inform connection with the employee with on trust, fair procedures and openness. Okay, from the legal point of view, these topics are all immediately relevant to several Malaysian labour laws addressing employee rights and employee obligation. The Industrial Relation Act of 1967 includes a number of process for dispute resolution, including consultation about working condition, collective bargaining, and just dismissal. The Employment Act of 1955 established a framework for how reasonable treatment and working condition are to be followed, including notice of termination and payment of wages. The Code of Conduct for Industrial Harmony 1975 calls the respect for each other, negotiation, and the ethical conduct of both employer and employee in their relationship. While for post-Malaysia, these laws and codes will act as guidance for effective framework of this dispute moving forward, and a reminder to the organization that while following laws is necessary for respect in the relationship, true industrial harmony occurs when these laws are part of the culture in the organization that comes from transparency, fairness, consistent communication. Okay, that's all from me. We're gonna continue with the recommendation, and thank you.
Now I will continue to present the recommendation. Based on our analysis, our group suggest 4 main recommendations for Post Malaysia. First, establish an employee welfare and grievance system. This includes forming a welfare committee and launching an online platform for employees to report issues confidentially. Second, implement a responsible restructuring policy. Before any termination or downsizing, the company should consult union, provide fair compensation and offer retraining support. Third, improve the performance management system. Make key performance indicator transparent, ensure fairness in evaluation and involve union representative in review. Last, introduce leadership, communication and empathy training. Train leader to respond to employee respectfully, handle grievance professionally and communicate dedication with sensitivity. This recommendation will help Post Malaysia foster a more positive and trusting workplace culture. Thank you.
So after the full discussion, we are facing several limitations during doing this assignment. So the first one is dependence on secondary data. The information in this report was derived from secondary sources such as new articles, post-Malaysia's annual reports and industrial court rulings. The second one is limitations on the scope of issues. The dissertation examines only 3 specific issues in industrial relation, which is information and welfare for staff, determination of post-rider agents, and elements of pay administration with performance evaluation. And last but not least, limits on access to internal information. The research examining data from publicly available materials and thus things like internal human resource policies, grievance data or official communication from the union could not be accessed.